the end of my night.
Yes.
All right, let's roll. Hey, hello. It is the Go Birds podcast presented by the Bet Parks Sportsbook and Casino Eliot Shorr-Parks. James Seltzer with you as we had another day of training camp. Not to mention, I mean, in all honesty, let's start where it's most important. If you're not watching on YouTube, you are missing out.
You are missing out big time.
Because we have beautiful helmets here.
We got helmets
Green,
now.
Look at this. Eliot Shorr-Parks just coming in with a box with the Kelly Green.
Yes.
It's like, bang.
This
Kelly
is your
Green.
first time seeing the Kelly Green in person.
Yes.
You were impressed. Not as impressed as I was hoping. I was expecting a little
like,
more.
Wow, how amazing is that?
It looks great in person.
I was like, first of all, you already sent me a picture of it.
I did.
Second of all, I grew up with this. Like, this is not
True.
my first time seeing the
True.
Kelly Green helmet.
True.
It is actually like my instinctual connection to the
Yes.
Eagles as a child. So,
Well, it's
but
interesting.
yes, it is a beautiful, beautiful helmet.
So it is an authentic helmet. I've had it for a few days in my house now. I've been around helmets, like I'm in the locker room, but I've never
Hold
like.
on, real quick.
Yeah.
Just the sentence. I've been around helmets.
No big deal to me.
It's good.
I've been around
That's
a helmet
good.
or two.
Yeah, yeah.
It is wild. These protect, like when you hold it in your hand, it's not like this super, it surprises me it protects them is all I'm saying.
Yes, this is said by
It
someone.
feels like a bit of a toy.
This
Like
is
it's
said,
not, but
this is said by someone who did not play football very clearly.
Clearly,
Because you know what
yeah.
it feels like? Feels like a football helmet.
yeah. I don't know. It's lighter than I expected, but the color is beautiful.
It's a gorgeous helmet.
is.
Yes, and hopefully it does protect our guys out there, obviously.
You know what's a very annoying thing?
Ooh, I mean, 10,000 things just entered my mind.
Yes.
Tell me, yes.
So we need a key card to get into the office.
Oh, yes.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Safety, all those things.
Yeah, it makes all the sense.
Do you ever have something where it's like you just always, it's not that you lose it for good, but I had it, then I misplaced it, and then I needed it and I couldn't find it, and then it's here and then it's there. There's just no worse feeling than running around your house when you can't find something. You feel like such an idiot. You're like, it has to be somewhere.
So yes, I've definitely had that experience. Never with anything as important as my work badge. Like,
you love your work badge,
well,
I will say.
What I do is I use it and then I put it in my backpack and it's there.
I
And
swear
then
that's what I do.
Every single day, I leave the garage. I use my little thing to beep out of the garage and then I put it right in my bag, like immediately, every single day. And you know where it always is? It's always in my backpack. And I never worry about losing. Like the thing, like keys, wallet, phone, AirPods, always on me at all times. So like in my pockets, and then work badge always in my bag. Anything else could be lost by me. Those things, never.
You're very systematic with things.
Yes.
I think that's why you're a great producer in a lot of ways. But so I got this thing for my wallet. It's an Apple AirTag that I put in there, and I also put it in my luggage. And it is helpful, although it only can find my wallet if I'm within 5 feet of it. I'll just be walking around the house with my phone.
That is ridiculous.
I know. But I'll be walking around the house with my phone, just like waiting for it to beep, and then I'm like, okay, so now I'm close. But I'm thinking about getting one for the for my badge if I ever find
You
it.
could just put it in your bag. You don't usually always bring a bag though.
I don't. And the other issue is my backpack is broken.
It's tough.
I know. I love the backpack. So there's that, and then sometimes I have like my satchel thing.
Yeah, your little man purse.
But
your
I was
Merce,
rushing
as I
from
like to call it.
practice. Yes, my Merce. I was rushing from practice to here, so I didn't want to hold you up.
Well,
So
I
I just
appreciate
left,
that
yeah.
because you did already hold me up a little bit.
I did.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, because I had to get the helmet.
It's all right. I got to hang out with Tucker. We had a lovely
Yeah.
time talking.
Get the new studio. Look at this
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. It's just.
It feels
sitting
very
there,
like
just hanging out.
Like I don't know if I can say the name of the rate. Like it feels like we're in like a cafe lounge or something. Like I like this color.
I could see that.
We're the only ones that use this color. Like I feel like we should be doing a sit down interview of like, so James, tell me about
like NPR
you know.
or something. Yeah.
I don't know
Is
if
that
we
what
could
you're
say
gonna
it. Yeah.
Yeah, we can say NPR.
Okay. It feels like NPR.
Yeah, it's
feels
public
like
radio.
KYW.
Yeah. KYW.
Feels
sure.
like a KYW.
Yeah, it feels like a. Well, Elliot,
Exactly.
tell me.
Yes. Also, I have
Elliot, you were at practice today.
exactly how it feels.
What
Yes.
was it like down there? It is literally. Obviously, I talk on the radio. For a
You
living.
do.
That's my job. Of all the radio stations, like those kinds are the ones that I could not fly at.
No.
Not my shtick doesn't work in
Well,
KYW.
you're pretty good there. You would just have to very
I
much
would,
do your.
I would have to really think hard and concentrate on talking very quietly and slowly.
You have a working man's excited voice,
Yes, I do.
which is perfect for this field work, this type of radio we do.
Yes.
I have a final take for the end that's built off of another one, but I feel so strongly about it.
I am excited. I love when we tease our final take.
Yeah,
So
I
I can't wait for your final take. I'm really looking forward to it. I got multiple takes.
I think you might enjoy it more than my recap of Eagles practice.
Oh, buddy.
I'm curious to get your opinion.
Let's get into it. Well, I was able to, I was here, so brought a little inside baseball. Tucker, before you get here, everyone knows we were hanging out for a while. Tucker's like, hey, what do you want to call it? I was like, don't care. I was like, Elliot, that is Elliot's
it's my wheelhouse.
Even when high ups, like Jack picks the titles, you pick the titles. Like, I'm totally good. I have one, and Tucker knows about this, and it's all I care is how it looks when it pops up. I care that the first letters are capitalized.
I'm big on that too.
Very weird. Jack likes to put commas in titles, which I hate. Yeah. Like a comma without a period or an end of like an exclamation word, it looks bad.
Can't tell you how many times I've said this.
I feel very strongly about it. But I don't care much about the titles. But so as a result, where I'm going with this, obviously, is we got to hear you tell.
Yes.
So Tucker was like, I'm just going to call it this. And you're like, no. I have a title.
I have one.
And knowing what the title on the YouTube is, Sloppy Practice, I assumed that we were going to come in and be like, they were awesome today. Just crisp, tight. Yeah. So talk.
All right. I understand it's 9 days into practice. But I am starting to get worried about the coordinators.
Oh, buddy.
So today at practice, there was a substitution issue on defense. It looked like they didn't really know what they were doing. Sean Desai himself has offered up that there was another time they've had substitution issues. Today, they were at the Link instead of the NovaCare. They haven't said why yet. I do wonder because like Sirianni had his headset on, Brian Johnson had his headset on, Sean Desai had his.
They wanted to make it more.
They wanted to make a game situation. On Sunday night, they were at the Link, also a sloppy practice. They had refs there today, maybe 7 or 8 flags thrown throughout the practice. There was a Derek Barnett moment. Shocker, it's always him.
I saw this on Twitter. I saw people talking like, what
so Derek Barnett,
what is he doing? Yeah. Like, it's always him in practice?
Yes, Derek Barnett gets up, and now I will say Landon Dickerson knocked him over during the drill. You could argue, like, relax, but he gets up, he pushes him from behind, they throw the flag. But it's not just that. There is false starts. There's defensive guys jumping offside. There's, like, substitution issues. There's, like, all types of things. It feels like the last 3 or 4 practices have been really sloppy. And the good news is it's just practice, and they have another month, I think, actually, maybe exactly a month till they play their first game. They have time. Sirianni is very good at working at issues, but when you watch it, when you looks like sloppy play and substitution things and play calling and like, it might be a preview of what we're stepping into early in the season with the coordinators.
All right. So we've done this many times. I'm not going to overreact to training camp, as you know, and you are more prone to react to it than I am.
Right.
I will say, like, of all the this could be, and again, we all know where I'm at. I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm not concerned about certain things, but if you lay out the concerns that we all talk about, we'll do the concern shows on the radio, whatever, like linebackers, the schedule, like this, that, coming back after getting the Super Bowl and having to do it again. Of all of them, the one that is the most like viable to me, the most realistic is a real issue for this team is the coordinators. Like that's the one where I look at it, I'm like, that is logical. Like teams don't lose both coordinators. Now, obviously I don't think it's going to sink them. I don't think it's going to be a major issue, but of those issues, it's the one that stands out to me the most is the most realistic. I am far less concerned about it on the offensive side of the ball for 2 obvious reasons, Nick and Jalen, like, and also the continuity on the offense year to year. I think they'll figure it out. I'm not super concerned, especially with Jalen leading the show when it really matters and all that. The defensive thing is a little concerning though. Like if you're going to, because it is a lot of new guys, like they have new, it's not just the new coordinator, it's 5 new pieces in the starting lineup or whatever it is, so, and guys and learning each other, new things and all that
not
stuff.
Not just the coordinator.
So I do think that, that I'm not saying I'm concerned by it, but that is something to keep our eye on. Like I want to make sure that defensively they are tight, they are crisp and all that. And look, we had Sean Desai on the morning show today, and I've been a huge Desai guy, like super into it. We put it in the feed if you want to listen to it, check it out. Like, I wasn't super impressed from he didn't come out. You would love it. He didn't come out and he kind of backed off we're going to be physical, we're going to be tough. Nice. Basically, it's going to be all about the opponent, this and that. But, and look, I get it. Good for him. He didn't say anything. It was like brick wall. Like, Joe kept joking throughout the show whenever something come up, be like, well, don't ask Sean Desai that question because he won't answer it. It was like that kind of interview. And that's fine from coaches, but, combined with hearing the issues on the defense day and the issues with sloppiness, it's like, all right, it just makes me step back and be like, he is a question mark. Sean Desai is not something that we are sure about. We're as sure as I am about the others.
So that I've been impressed by Desai at the podium. I do think the interview, and I would encourage people to listen to it in the feed, he's probably trying to say nothing.
He was.
For sure.
Very purpose. And he did a great, smart guy.
Yeah. I think he's definitely smart. But so today, here's like a good example of kind of where I think both of us would fall on this. One is, today they did situational drills where they started at like, their own 35. And it was, if you got a first down, you kept going. If you don't, you're off the field.
Make you take it.
Yes. The offense, the first team offense, first 2 drives, 3 and out. The third one, they put them against the second team defense, and it took them like 12 plays to get down the field. The third team offense had the most impressive drive of the day, in my opinion. So, like, that's what I talk about when I mean sloppy. There's flags. There's incompletions. Like, Jalen missed an easy throw today he should hit. There's, like, short throws. There's not those big dynamic long throws. But at the very end of practice, there was a play where you're like, this is how they can just overcome it. Jalen drops back. He hits A.J. Brown from about 40 yards down the field. And it's like, well, that was a lot easier than dinking and dunking down the field. So at the end of the day, they are sloppy. They have been sloppy so far. But they have so much talent that, to your point, like, I think they'll overcome. Like, this team's not going to win 5 games. Like, the lowest they're going to win is, barring injury, I don't know, 9, 10, right? So this is a team that is going to be really good. But it's just when you watch them practice again, like 3 and out, Jalen missing throws, flags. And it's my opinion on this. I believe they look sloppy. And Sirianni's not told me this. No one in the building has told me this. I just think when I look at Sirianni at practice, I sense frustration from him. Like, he's much like
we
you
heard in those
and
videos,
me.
the get it perfect. We
exactly
see it early in camp.
Yep.
So
he's much like me in the way, and you, where like you can read our emotion a mile away.
I can't hide a thing.
Right. When I walk in the room, you can absolutely tell if I'm in a good mood or if I'm in a bad mood.
No doubt.
And Sirianni will be 50 yards away from me on the field, and I feel like I can look at him and just like sense how he's feeling. And I think moving it to the link, like, he'll talk tomorrow. We'll find out the real reason, but he had the headset on. Like, there was a moment during practice today where it was a sloppy play. Sirianni's just kind of standing there, and Brian Johnson yells at the offense, like, what are you doing? Something like that. And it did, and I'm high on Brian Johnson overall, but it does make you realize, like, man, Shane Steichen might be a big loss. Just even not if, like, he's making amazing play calls, just that he has experience doing it. Like, it felt like today's practice was, let's practice how to call plays in and, like, work on game day situation. And that's the downside of having big turnovers on the staff. Like, if Shane Steichen and Gannon were here, maybe Gannon's overrated and maybe Steichen doesn't matter, but at least they know operationally. They have, 2 years of experience doing it. They've been in a Super Bowl together. They've called plays. So, like, this staff is starting from day one. Like, and it really, I think, is highlighted so far in practice.
I mean, Johnson's not starting from day one. He was in those meetings. He talked about it with us. He said Steichen was really cool about letting him sit with him, letting him kind of follow what he was doing, all that stuff. So I do think that it's more Desai starting from square one, so to speak. And look, I do think, the fact that they've never done it is an issue. But again, to the point where 9 practices in, and these are training camp practices, so they're not working. I think it was smart to go to the link. It's smart to get that done on. Mm-hmm. I mean, they asked Desai today, Jody Mack asked him, are you going to be on the field or in the booth? And he's like, I don't know yet. And it's like, we got to figure it out. Like, and it's like, so there's clearly a lot of, like, to your point, like, logistical, operational things. But, like, I trust Nick Sirianni to figure this out. I mean, we saw it even in his first season when all these guys were brand new, and none of them have done it before. I mean, Steichen had 1 year as an offensive coordinator, but
and Desai's had 1 year, but not together.
Gannon never been offensive coordinator. Steichen had 1 year, but not with him, and Sirianni had never been head coach before. And we saw the first, whatever it was, 6, 7, 8 games, all-time worst in penalties, all-time sloppy, and they fixed it on the fly. Like, Sirianni fixed it. So, like, I have a lot of faith in Nick to fix these things and to be on top of these things, and I think that's partially why he's been that way at practice with the get it perfect, with you being able to read his emotions, like all that. I think I'm sure he knows he needs to get on top of this. I just trust him because of what we've experienced to be able to do that.
And so I would be very surprised if we're recording a pod in this beautiful studio with these beautiful helmets in week 9 and we're still talking about them being sloppy. My concern is not long-term with this. My concern is if they're working on it now, and again, you should work on the things that you're not good at, right? That's why I don't like when they run quarterback runs in practice. It's like, A, you can't hit Jalen, and B, we know he's really good at it. I get you have to practice everything. But when you're struggling like this in practice, I do wonder, like, week 1, full stadium, noise, like, just, I think that there could be some definite growing pains for these coordinators. And like I said, the talent might just override it.
I think it probably will.
The talent is good enough where if there's a sloppy play on 3rd down, Jalen escapes the pocket, AJ freelances, next thing you know, it's a 35-yard play. They didn't have Devontae today. Maybe that's part of it. Devontae was excused for personal reasons. Like, there's a number of things that are going into this. they don't look like a well-oiled machine. And you would think a team that is mostly returning all their starters on offense would look better, in my opinion. Now, Jalen had an awesome start to camp, so there's not been an all-camp problem. But remember, at the beginning of camp, we were talking about how Sirianni was yelling, and we loved it, and I do. But now that like cute yelling story has turned into, okay, why is he yelling so much? And so the flags are starting to show more. Like there were 3 or 4 plays today they didn't even blow dead because there were so many flags they like had to run the reps. So it just I'm excited to see what Sirianni says about it on Thursday, because I did wonder, like looking at him today, if this is a time where he maybe needs to like dig into him publicly a little. You know, like say it's not been good enough. There are flags. Like the Barnett play, prime example. I get it's not a game. I get that it's not, you know, actually the fourth quarter. But dude, what are you doing getting up and pushing Dickerson over? Like why? A, it's your teammate. What are you proving? And you know they're throwing flags. You know it's situational. They were doing like first, second, third. He gets up, runs up to him, and just pushes him from behind. And Barnett, I actually think, has had a good day. And he's been working his team up, his way up from like third team to second team. Now he's getting first team reps. But it's just stuff like that. And then there was the play a few practices ago where Jalen didn't hand the ball to the ref. It was a situational play. Time was running out. He ran for a first down, didn't get it. So either did get it or didn't get it, but they were going to kick a field goal. And Sirianni got really mad at him because he just left the ball there. He didn't pick it up and give it to the ref, so the ref could then spot it and like things would go quickly. So there's just little things like that. And again, it's practice. It's day 9. But, you know, what you do in practice matters. And the whole thing has been setting a tone of not being sloppy. And I'm just seeing a lot of little things that you didn't see with the team last year.
I get it. But again, like I think this is somewhat expected with 2 new coordinators. I think if you went to a lot of camps around the league, even without new coordinators, you'd see a lot of sloppy football with certain teams. So like I can't overreact to it. Like would I rather they were well machined? Sure. But again, it's early still. They have 2 new coordinators. The first time in 25 years that a team has lost both coordinators in offseason. It's not like you just come in.
Wait, I'm just curious. First time in NFL
in 25 years.
Or the Eagles you're talking about.
No, in 25 years that a team has lost both coordinators in the same
in the entire league?
That's what Dan Wilson said on the air yesterday, and Dan's pretty good about checking that stuff up. So I
would imagine that doesn't include like firings. You know, like where like a whole new staff
No. It's losing coordinators to be head coaches. I believe. Is
that's crazy.
Yeah. So
well, that's not encouraging.
No, I mean that's a real. You know. So, but again, I also would not expect these guys to come in and be ready to roll day one. Like I wouldn't expect it to be super crisp.
Well, and I think that's like the fine line to walk. Where I agree. Seeing this today does not make me think that they're not going to win the Super Bowl. Seeing this today doesn't make me think they won't be the 1 seed. But it does reinforce my belief that the start to the season could be more rocky than maybe people think. That's really it. Because, like, yes, they're working on it. They have a month to work on it. But it's going to be different in game. Like, there just is. The adrenaline, like, all those things.
But, again, I think this is a group that is better in game than in practice. I mean, all of training
camp
last year.
I'm talking about the coordinators, though.
Right, but I'm saying the team itself is better in games than in practice. And Jalen, in particular, is better in games than in practice. And he is the leader of it all. So, like, I get it. Certainly offensively. Again, now defensively is a different story. But offensively, like, I'm putting my worry at 0% for them to be sloppy and not together. Like 0. Like that's with all the guys returning, with Jalen leading it, like 0. Defensively, I think that's a much more viable, realistic concern because of all the turnover, all the youth, and the new coordinator.
Cam Jurgens did have a penalty today. Not the end of the world, but like that is on the offense side of the ball. I would say for my worry.
Cam Jurgens had a penalty. Cool.
Yeah, he did.
I know. What is that? So what?
Well, I'm saying you're saying you don't have a concern about the offense. Like that. Like there's
I'm saying it's practice. I'm not concerned about the offense being sloppy in practice right now at all. Zero. Now the defense, that's something to monitor.
Right. So I would say my worry level for the offense going into the season is like 10%. Yeah, 10%.
Literally 0%. Like actually 0.
My worry,
none.
My worry concern meter for the defense would probably be like maybe 30, 35. Like, I think their defensive line is so good, they're going to clean up a lot of mistakes.
I agree.
Jordan Davis had a really good day of practice again. He made a really good play against the run, got in the backfield, didn't tackle, obviously, because they weren't tackling. But he's been getting consistent pressure. Like, I thought Sunday night, and we haven't recorded since Sunday night. Sunday night, he had a sack, like, in the game, or the situational. So he's been much better, I think, rushing the passer. Nolan Smith continues to be awesome. Reddick's back taking first-team reps. Sweat's been really good. So on defense, I think the defensive line will cover up a lot of mistakes. We haven't talked about the new linebackers.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the new linebackers.
Right. So that is one thing where I wonder if they're seeing they definitely need help there. I do think
again, we all said they need help there. I mean, again, after Nakobe, and again, we don't know Nakobe. I believe in him, but like he's still a 3rd-round pick from last year. He's never really played in the NFL. And after him, it's literally nothing. Like no one we can count on, no one we believe in. So like, I'm not surprised at all. I expect them to make moves there.
Well, and I like the signings for 2 reasons. One, they have a ton of experience, right? 171 games combined starters. Miles Jack is already getting first-team reps. Cunningham's working with the 2s. Nakobe's not back doing first-team reps yet. So I think
he's hurt still, right?
He's hurt, yeah, exactly.
So he's not doing any reps.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah, he's not back doing, Gotcha. He's doing individual stuff. He's not doing back to taking team reps. So when he is, he will be a starter, I would assume. A good way to tell is an individual drill is they normally line up in the order of depth chart, and Nakobe's still number 1.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I think Nakobe still has that job. But they're both versatile. They both have a ton of experience. So I do like the signings. There's an argument to be made. There's 90-man rosters in 32 camps. Why are they not in a camp at this point? But they're both veteran guys. I do wonder if maybe they're waiting for the right spot. I don't know. I haven't gotten the answer to this if they've had other offers, but it wouldn't surprise me if they had other teams interested and they were just like, I don't know if that's the move for me right now. Because when you have that much experience,
it'd be interesting to hear them talk, to be asked that when they speak.
I mean, Ndamukong Suh was a late signing. Obviously, he played well with Linval Joseph. So I guess I'm saying I don't think the fact that they're late signings to me doesn't mean they're bad.
No, look, I like Miles Jack. I liked him coming out of UCLA. I know he had the knee thing.
He's been healthy, which is crazy.
I wanted the Eagles to take him. Like I was like, I freaking love this guy. This guy's a playmaker, and I liked him in Jacksonville. I think Miles Jack's a good football player,
and he's been good.
Yeah,
I mean,
Cunningham less so. I think Cunningham's fine. Big dude.
Yeah.
I mean, played a lot for Houston. It's fine. But I think Miles Jack's a really good football player, and I'm happy they brought him in. They had a need there. You know? So again, I do like in this whole conversation about the sloppy play and all that. Like I really do come back to this team is so freaking talented. Like and this is just another example of just adding a dude where you saw a hole and it's like this guy has made plays in the NFL, many plays in the NFL. Another guy who has made plays in the NFL. I feel so confident in this roster right now, and obviously there's other pieces to that, but with the leadership, with the guys at the top, like that, I think Howie saw the weakness on the team and went out and made moves.
Peter King was in practice last week, and he wrote in his thing, and he tours all the rosters, or all the camps. He said he thinks they have the best roster in the NFL. Like, this is the interesting thing. We spent so many years of doing this pod where, like, after 17, and then it was 18, 19, 20, 21, like those were not years where we were doing the pod and it was like, oh yeah, they're just really, really good. You figure 18 was coming off a Super Bowl, but that was immediately an ugly year. 19 coming off 18, not great. 2020 was a complete disaster, a lot of ways. 2021, it was an encouraging season, but again, we almost did the like I was wrong pod. So it's been a while since we've been able to talk about a team where we know they're good, but there's still issues. Like in the way where yes, they are sloppy. But that doesn't mean I'm getting on this pod and saying like red flag, the team's not good.
We're just saying what you're seeing.
Yeah, it's been sloppy, and I think Sirianni feels that way too.
I think it's clear. Again, I think he's felt it from the, and I think he needs to. Again, they did go to the Super Bowl. Like they do have like the potential. We all know the potential for, to your point, a slow start or for a down season as a result of going back. I don't expect that, but I think that it's smart of Nick to be on top of that, to be aware of that, to be ready for that.
And well. It's a little kind of like how we talked about the Super Bowl thing, how you either want to like embrace it or ignore it. And it's a little different because that's emotional versus this is like physical mistakes. But I respect the fact that they're realizing it's sloppy and they're like, all right, we need to alter this maybe and go like fix it, like go work on it. So I do think they'll get it fixed. My worry is you can feel really good and feel like you have it fixed before week 1. It's like training for something. Literally, it's training camp or like a fight. Like everyone has a plan until the first time you get hit. And then like, the staff doesn't have experience doing this together, and they're in this situation. You can think of all the situations in the world. A football game presents a billion different situations. So that is a concern, I guess, a main concern I have. Coming off of specifically practice number 9, but also we haven't recorded, since Sunday. So these last few practices have been sloppier.
Yeah, and the open practice, like that's of all the practices, the one I care about the least. It's like a show more than a practice in a way. And they have 50,000 fans there. So like, I don't really take anything away from that. Last year we saw the Cam Jurgens, Jordan Davis, that thing. Remember?
Yeah, it was individual. But
and right, but that was like oh my god.
Well, there's nothing like a clip of a rookie, and maybe this will be Nolan Smith. But like you see something and you're like, oh yeah, here we go, double digits,
and then it didn't. So like I don't do too much about the open, but again today and just the overall idea of them being sloppy because I do think like I don't want to, by almost being like, not flippant about it, but almost like saying like, all right, I'm not too concerned about it. I don't want to make it seem like I don't care about them being tight and crisp. I think it's one of the hallmarks of great teams. I think it's what we saw last year. I think it's what we saw in 2017 with the Eagles. It's a team that as soon as the whistle blows, that team is ready to play football, and they're not going to make mistakes. They're not going to let you beat. They're not going to beat themselves. Yeah, like that type of stuff. And I think that's the team we saw last year, and I think that's what we saw in 2017, and that's the hallmark of great teams. So I don't want to kind of downplay the concern that people might have from the sloppiness. I'm just not there. So you know what I mean?
I think last year,
if it's season, if it's the first month of the season, they look like that, I'll still expect them to get it fixed.
Yeah, I think
they'll be a lot more concerned about their prospects.
Well, I also think last year they had such a large margin for error in these games. You know, like remember the Titans game? I'm almost positive it was Titans. They had like 3 straight penalties to start the game. They're backed up. It's ugly. They win the game like 35-7. You know, so they had last year really until the Super Bowl, and to a certain extent, sloppy play on both sides of the ball really is why they lost that game. But up until the Super Bowl, they were up so big that these penalty numbers at the end of games, like, they didn't matter. There weren't a ton of like fourth quarter, super close, that penalty killed them. And so I do think we both expect this year the margin for error to be tighter, just because they're playing better teams. It's tough to blow everybody out 2 years in a row. So that's why I think that Nick is harping on it specifically. I go back to day 1, I think at camp it was, when maybe it was day 1 or day 2. He yells at him like, "This is how you lose to bad teams." You know, like, and this year they're not playing bad teams. Yeah. So when you're up 14, 21 points, like, these things don't stand out as much. And so that's the concern this year.
I do think with the schedule, I think people are really too worked up over it, you know?
Yeah, I think there's probably truth to that.
Of course, every year teams that we think are going to be good are, and look, that could be the Eagles, who knows? I really don't expect it. But, like, there's going to be a team that we think is going to be really good that's not going to be nearly as good as we expect. And also, like, they get some of their toughest games at home. Like, really the only super tough one on the road is Kansas City. The rest of the really tough games are at home. And the Eagles are freaking awesome. And again, like the quarterbacks too. We look at the teams on the schedule, but it's like when you look at the quarterbacks, it's really just like Mahomes, Allen, and Rodgers, right? Like,
and like Geno,
and
Dak.
That's what I mean. Yeah. I'm saying in terms of the only quarterbacks who you could even argue, and we wouldn't other than Mahomes, but you could even argue are on Jalen Hurts' level or better than Jalen Hurts that they play this year are Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Aaron Rodgers, and that's it.
Yeah, and so there's not many in the whole league. So
right, and I do think, and look, you know, I mean, people have listened to this show, at least the shout out, auto downloaders, auto download the pod. It really helps us out.
Yes.
Real ones, you know, leave reviews, all that stuff, especially with football season coming. It really helps people find the pod, make this community bigger. We love it. But anyone who's listened for a long time, or even the last year or so, knows that Eliot Shorr-Parks' view of football is quarterback and coach. And then everything else after that, like, the Eagles are going to have the advantage in that in pretty much almost every game they play.
Yeah, and if they went against all 31 other teams, there's probably only one team where you
Patrick
would go
and Andy. And
because I think Nick's a better coach than Sean McDermott.
Dude,
and I think he's a better coach than Zach Taylor.
No doubt.
So,
no doubt. And I think Jalen's a better quarterback than them. Like, you know, no brainer.
So large picture, though, I would say, too. Like, because shout out to all the real ones and all downloaders. A lot of them at practice. We can see all our people are getting access.
That.
Yeah.
Love that.
And one thing you hear a lot is, like, the schedule, the NFC's weak. And I think there's both truth to that. But I think what you just said is also like the schedule, we don't know what the schedule is going to be. You don't, right? And also, this is why I don't put a ton of stock into the NFC's weak, because we don't know. Like, the Lions could end up being, who knows? So ultimately, I think the biggest thing to rest on with the Eagles is they have the best roster in the NFC. They have the best head coach quarterback duo. And we know they're really good. So they're going to have margin fair against anybody they play. When I predict their season, yes, part of it will be the NFC, part of it will be the schedule. For the most part, when I decide what I think the season's going to be, it's going to be because of them. I'm not really going to put a ton of stock into the other teams.
All right, speaking of the schedule, coming up in a minute, a big announcement coming from this podcast.
Yes.
And also, I want to hear about everyone else at practice. Download the BetParks Sportsbook and Casino app. I just keep saying what I always say. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Football season is about, Eliot just said it, we are a month and 3 days away. Or and 2 days away. I mean.
We're also only like 3 days away from the first Eagles game.
That's true. So much to bet on.
Yes.
And pro football futures, we're going to talk a little bit tomorrow pod about another division or two with the opportunities to make some money there. But there's so much fun stuff to bet on division leaders, on conference winners, on who's going to win it all, on who's going to win MVP, on who's going to have certain rushing yards and this and that. Like, there's so many, all kinds of fun player over-unders, all kinds of awesome stuff to bet on. with the Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino app. More than anything, obviously there's baseball going on. There's soccer. There's all kinds of stuff that you can bet on. But more than anything, like we are a month away from Elliot and I every week picking every freaking game and making our parlay. The Go Birds parlay that we love, that is such a part of what we do. Like, you got to be a part of it. You got to have the app. You got to
Don't feel left out.
Don't feel left out.
I also I have this little graphic I made that I'm excited to tweet out. It's pretty cool. It's with
I
Parks.
can't. What a tease.
Yeah, so
what a tease.
follow me on all my social media
Parks.
platforms.
We love Parks.
Yes, exactly.
On every, that's what I'm doing.
It's literally
every,
my name.
every level.
Yes.
Exactly right. So download the app. Have a little fun with us. And more than anything, we're watching these games anyway. It's way more fun to have action on it. It's just a fact. And here's a great deal. All new users, if you bet $10, you get $125 in sportsbook bonus if your first bet is a winner. BetParks.com has all the terms and conditions. New users and winning bets only. Sports bonus bet must be wagered once. See website for details. You must be 21 in New Jersey, Ohio, or Pennsylvania. Of course, gambling problem. Go away, Andrew Gambler.
So, you know how I said at the beginning of the pod, I have been annoyed with the fact that I couldn't find my key card?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
I remember.
That's not the only thing getting me hot under the collar.
Look at you.
High temperatures, man.
You're damn right.
High temperatures are getting me hot under the collar. And if you think that's bad, just wait till Kristen sees the energy bill. I'll never see it, but she'll see the energy bill.
What's an energy bill? Yeah,
it's a good point. What's a bill? Yeah,
my wife knows all about it.
Exactly.
She's very interested in ways to make them less.
It's funny. Sure. There's times where I'll be like, "Man, I did the dishes today, blah blah blah," and I'm like, "Oh, that's right. Kristen literally manages all of our financial." Yeah,
everything.
So I have no room to talk.
I could not come within. I don't. I whatever number you want to pick of how much money is in my. I have no idea.
Wow, what a flex! Tell me you work for the morning show without telling me.
You know, I have no idea.
So anyway, what's a way to get great energy bills and to make sure you're saving money? The solution, I recommend my friends, of course, at Window Nation. New energy efficient windows. Your home stays comfortable and cool. Your AC will avoid any premature breakdown, and you will save on those high energy bills. Not to mention the incredible saving Window Nation is offering right now. You get 50% off any style window. Bows, bays, double hung sliders, 50% off. Plus, 0 down and make 0 payments with 0% interest for 24 months. So maintain your chill, lower your bill, and fill your home with new Window Nation windows. Go to the company that has installed nearly 2 million windows with 96% needing no follow-up service. They do it right the first time. That's a huge relief. Get 50% off all style windows and put no money down, make no payments, and pay no interest for 2 full years. Call 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION, windownation.com, and tell them Go Birds sent you.
Damn right. A couple quick thoughts before we get back to the Eagles on.
I'm excited to hear
on
this.
Those reads.
Yeah.
Right. First of all, fun to be in the studio, and Tucker and I can look at each other and stuff.
I saw some eye contact happening.
Okay, so what I love is that people can see. So when Elliot does the reads, normal, just talking, but like when you get for emphasis, you do this little like. Or like you do a little like
yeah,
thing
well, it's the actor in me.
I just love it because it's
bravado.
Like because it's not like you're talking with your hands all the time like this,
right?
But it's like when you really want to emphasize the point, you'll do like a little like boom.
Well,
I dig it. I think it's fun.
Little behind the scenes baseball in the dugout, whatever.
Inside baseball,
like
inside.
So obviously, like that when we're on the radio, we'll have reads. So like,
yes.
Right. And on Go Birds, I like to be really like casual about it. And we just talk about how it impacts whatever. Window Nation does such a good job writing them. Sometimes I'm like, I'm just gonna read it because I can't do it better.
Yeah,
there's a little innuendos.
I will say, like they're right. Like
that's what I'm saying. Whoever did this, like
that's like clever.
I wonder if this person has like an English degree and now they're in this field, like the way that So it's very impressive. Almost as impressive as their windows.
Almost,
but not quite.
Nothing is.
Nothing is.
All right. Big announcement coming up in a few.
Are we doing that?
Should we?
Yeah.
You're the one who said we had to do it.
Yeah.
You're like, guys, we've been waiting to do it. Do you want to do it today? Should we do it tomorrow? Should we tease it for tomorrow?
Well, I think we should tease it again.
Okay. We are teasing it again.
But I will say, I have people reaching out like.
So that's what I'm trying to do.
That's what I mean. But I think.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Tomorrow's pod.
Yes.
We will be on. We'll be able to look at the chat tomorrow because we won't be in the beautiful studio. We'll be doing it from home on StreamYard. So that way, people get in the chat tomorrow. If you want to be there, find out first. You can react. We'll talk to you about it. Tomorrow
big
announcement. We'll announce where we're going.
What game we're going to.
The Go Birds official game.
God, I can't wait.
I'm so excited.
I can't wait.
It's going to be awesome. And let me just tell you, I'm ready.
Oh.
I just want to say I'm ready.
Yes.
I'm
excited for you to the trip is perfect for you.
Yes.
There's a little teaser.
Yes.
We don't get to go on many trips together. So
I know.
That'd be a ton of fun.
Yeah, we did it like once when we barely knew each other in Tennessee.
Yeah. Silly wasted that trip.
Yeah, may or may not have got kicked out of a bar.
Not in an aggressive way.
No,
and like,
the guy thought I was
probably time for James to go hit the haystack.
Yes, with my pregnant wife following us.
Yeah, she was a
around
trooper, carrying all the stuff in her bag.
7 months pregnant, just like hanging out with us. Yeah, it was great. As Elliot and I are like doing like whiskey tastings.
Oh my God,
stuff.
yeah. Ugh. But I mean, delicious. But but if there's anyone that deserves to let their hair down a little bit, it's you.
Thanks,
so it'll
buddy.
be good to you. 3 days.
I'm really excited.
Waking up at
I know.
8 a.m.
super early in the morning.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good.
exactly.
So tomorrow's pod, tune in. The big announcement of what the Go Birds away game will be this year. All right. Shout out to fans Philly. They're awesome. All right. What else today? Like, what else? We kind of talked about anything like who stood out to you? Let's get to the Jalen report from today.
Yeah.
All that type of stuff.
So Jalen, 7 of 13, no touchdowns, no interceptions. One thing I would like to comment on, and maybe this is on me. There's been a lot of like Cowboys fans in my mentions using my stats to show that Jalen's not throwing a lot of touchdowns, and that is a discussion to be had. Like, but I should probably provide better context. If they're running the ball from the 30, or like that's where the ball is being snapped from, the chances of a touchdown there are extremely slim. Touchdowns in training camps really only come in red zone. If you look at Jalen's first 7 practices through last year, he has the same number of touchdowns. So I don't think it's a concern yet. Like the touchdown number is low.
Yeah, we also know last year you set a number, you didn't hit
of 30, didn't he? He was still
on the
unbelievable.
MVP, so it's all good.
I mean, he did get close to it.
What I will say that is like freaking hilarious is that Cowboys fans would have the gall right now to come to you about Jalen not throwing enough touchdowns when like all I see every day is interceptions from Dak Prescott. It's like, oh, can't wait to see what picks he threw today. Like, it's like every day. It's like more interceptions from Dak, two more. Trayvon Diggs had 2 today. Like really?
Yeah.
Like, okay, Dallas, have fun with that.
Well, I think they're like, what it is they're trying to be like, look, Jalen is struggling too. Like that's like I mean, he's not, to be clear.
I know, but
I think that's
honestly,
the
I would say it's sad if I had any empathy for Cowboys fans at all, but I don't.
You don't.
So it's
You
just
never
loser.
have.
It's just freaking loser.
And my guess is you never will.
That sucks. I don't know what to say. You
have said it once or twice.
Yes.
So Jalen, here's the tough thing.
I want it on my freaking tombstone. All right,
here
James Seltzer. Here lies, whatever. James Seltzer. I don't even care about beloved father, husband, whatever. They know. Zoe knows.
They know.
Yeah. I want Go Birds, Dallas Seltzer.
There it is.
On my freaking tombstone.
Can you put whatever you want on your tombstone?
Sure, of course.
I would guess, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, assuming you let someone know before you die.
Yeah, well, obviously after.
Hard to make that happen after.
Tough.
But yeah, I think I assume you can say.
I would guess there's probably some like.
Yeah, I don't think you can say like
something
graphic
racist
or this or they're like horrible to a segment of people or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think you could do that.
But when it comes to Dallas, then we're good.
Yeah, sure,
exactly.
I mean, because everyone knows that. I mean, that's not like
they probably have this tombstone pre-made.
It's not like slander or anything. It's just a factual statement. Like,
a good point.
You can't get in trouble for saying facts.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
That is a rule. So Jalen, 7 of 13, no touchdowns, no interceptions. The tough thing with grading Jalen is the offense does not look good the last 2 days. I just don't really think it's on Jalen, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't look to me like there's wide open throws that he's missing. There's been 1 or 2 where I'm like, he probably should have made that throw. It doesn't look to me like he's making poor decisions. It doesn't look to me like the pre-snap things are on him. But overall, the offense is not really functioning at a very high level. They're running it a ton more, which I have a running back thought for you in a second.
Ooh.
But overall, I think, we did the pod where I said Jalen was setting the gold standard for training camp. He's probably cooled off a little since then. He has. Now,
it's all right. I don't want him to set the gold standard.
The joint practices are coming up.
Slightly below your expectations. And then we're in for an MVP here.
Yes. But overall, Jalen, I give him a C- today. I do think ultimately he has to get dinged somewhat for the offense not playing well, but I don't think it's really like his fault. Overall, I still think he looks great throwing the ball. Even with some misses, even with all that, he's looked really good throwing it. Just 1 or 2 misses per day that he wasn't at the beginning of camp that I would think he would make.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it. All right.
Running back thing real quick.
Yeah, running back thing.
So Nick Sirianni, I'll take him at his word, said don't read into how they're using the running backs. I still think DeAndre Swift is number 1. But I think it's a little interesting that one argument you can make for Penny not getting a lot of work with the first team offense is they don't want to use his body a ton.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Penny has more touches. I didn't do today yet, so it could have changed, but I don't think it will. Penny has more touches than any running back in camp.
Well, all right, so where I've been. I've been all in on Rashad.
You are all in.
I think if he stays healthy, he's the best running back on the team, flat out. Like, I think the dude's awesome. That is interesting. And I will say DeCamera on the air today said that he talked to someone, and I can't remember his exact phrasing, but he's like, someone who would know.
Right.
Like he's like someone who's involved in the NFL and who's someone who's like, I trust completely is what he said. And he said that person told him that DeAndre Swift really struggles with the hit in the hole and that he is big on kind of,
so do you
taking
DeAndre
out kind
Swift?
of the Miles Sanders. I'm saying with DeAndre Swift.
Okay, cool. I didn't know if you. Okay.
No, it was
we were
DeAndre
talking about
Swift.
Penny. All right.
No. I'm saying it's an anti-Swift.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because to your point, I'm saying that he said that, and with this offense, with the ride and decide and all that, like we saw Miles do it. Like, and that was part of Miles got much better at it. It wasn't like obviously had a great year last year, but like if Swift is hesitant to hit that hole when he needs to in that, like that's the kind of thing that could get him off the field more often because you need to be able to hit that with that offense the way they run it. It's like imperative.
Yep. I agree. And I think that's why you saw Swift maybe lose touches in his role throughout the year in Detroit. But the other interesting part of the Penny thing is, so the most touches of anybody in camp, again, this is after day 8, not after day 9, most touches. He has the second fewest carries with the first team offense and the second most carries with the third team offense. It's just weird. I'm not this isn't like I think they're going to cut him. The way they're using the running backs is just weird. It's the only way I can say it. Like Trey Sermon gets a ton of work with the first team offense. Kenny Gainwell in practice gets a ton of work with the first team offense. Like it doesn't look like they're emphasizing Swift or Penny. And so then it's easy to go, all right, well, it's because they're saving their bodies, but then they're getting a ton of touches with the third team, which is just weird to me. Maybe they don't know the offense fully yet, and that's part of it.
It could just be that
but dude, the season's in a month.
Soon,
I mean, you weren't signed yesterday.
Running back, like
exactly,
like it's literally the most easy position on the offense to know the offense.
Now, Penny has had a few runs in the last few days where I think he's like it's popped. There's not been.
You can see it. That was the thing that I always liked about Penny is like he does have that like whoa here, which like not everyone does.
Yes, and so like that, there hasn't been many plays from the like last year. I thought with Miles Sanders, there was a lot of plays where it was okay. Like that's an impressive play.
You were right.
Yeah,
like,
he had a big year.
Awesome last year.
I don't think there's been a lot of those plays from the running backs. There's been that catch by Swift, but outside of that, there hasn't really. The only constant is they never give Kennedy Brooks touches with anything but the third team offense.
Okay.
Other than that,
so don't worry about Kennedy.
Kenny not gonna make the team. But other than that, they truly are using these guys in a way where.
Well, and we don't think they're gonna keep 5, but like it's like they're using them all. I will say it is it's really fascinating. I do think that part of it could be that those guys know the offense well, and especially if they're playing sloppy, get someone who's gonna make sure they. Mm-hmm. But it is concerning that those guys, if they're not.
It's just weird. That's the best. Honestly,
quickly.
It's the best word I can describe it. The way they're using their running backs is weird.
And look,
I don't know if Nick's like personally messing with me because of my training camp stats, but like it is like
I don't think that.
I don't think that's it, but it would be hilarious. I just like it's impossible to get a read on.
Well, and one thing I will say that I do think that, and I was thinking about this yesterday, and Miles comes up. I think that because of how bad Miles was in the Super Bowl and the playoffs, but particularly Super Bowl, now Gainwell got those carries and all that, like. We kind of were like, oh, we're definitely going to be better running back this year. Like, we got Swift and Penny. And look, I love Penny.
Yeah.
I think he's better than Miles Sanders, but I don't know if he's going to stay on the field. I don't think DeAndre Swift's a better running back than Miles Sanders. I think he's a better receiver. Like, I think
and Miles certainly had some flaws as well.
He did. But, like, in terms of, like, prior to the playoffs last year, like, Miles Sanders was really freaking good.
Agreed.
He had a great year.
He got the most guaranteed money of any running back.
He got a great year for the Eagles last year. So, like, I do think that that's one area where everyone's like, oh, we're going to be so much better at running back this year. Like, I don't know that we are. Like, I don't know that, that those guys are going to be better than Miles Sanders.
This is why I was Team Bijan.
Yeah. So, well, I'm fine with how they did it. I'm just saying I don't think it's a lock,
A few more quick little things before we get into
the importance of
and also we got to talk about the list.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about it. Yeah.
And we did it a little bit, obviously, on the radio, but I think you deserve a pod thing.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, everyone knows what I'm going to say.
I know. So, I think I've been definitely wrong about 2 things so far in training camp. One, the Devontae Smith number 6 looks good in Kelly Green. I was wrong about that.
Damn right.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
I've seen people wearing it at practice. Yep. I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It looks great. Keely Ringo's not going to be a healthy scratch all year. He's not going to do the shady IR thing.
He's going to play, you think?
He's already with the second team. He is moving his way up, and he's been good.
I mean, as a 4th round pick.
Yeah, my take on that was never I was down on Keely. It was I didn't think that they thought he'd be ready.
It was a depth thing.
And Josh Jobe still looks really good. Eli Ricks has started to make some plays. But I think Keely is having one of the, in terms of just moving from lower to up, Keely's having a really good camp.
Love that. It's great to hear.
Yeah.
Because I'm high on him.
I'm trying to think if there's other little roster things.
Don't worry about it. Let's get to the top.
Not really.
It's way more interesting. Yeah. I totally forgot about it because we did the show
Exactly,
together. So
the floor is yours.
The floor is mine. Look, here's what I'll say. absolutely 100% still feel how I've felt in the past. Right. I think the top 100 players list is the earmuffs 1, 2, 3, the dumbest fucking list in all of lists. I think it is so freaking stupid. I mean, Kirk Cousins number 42 on the list. Like, I mean, Trevor Lawrence was the 14th quarterback. Like, really? Or whatever it was.
Oh,
12?
Was he? That's funny.
Yes. Like, if Kirk Cousins is at it, like, all these freaking people are nowhere the guy's hemisphere. Like, I think it's so dumb. Like, I think these guys, they don't watch every player, every game. Like, they watch tape. They watch for their position. They're watching specific guys. Like, I just think that they are not nearly as well versed in the, I know that they play these guys, but I don't think they know the league as well. I think they're, like, talking about either friends or it's, like, guys who are hyped up or whatever. Like, look, obviously they got one thing right.
There it is.
Jalen at number 3.
There it is.
You nailed it.
They don't know what they're talking about, but they nailed this one. Yeah.
Well done with that one specific thing, and I think everything else is asinine. It's stupid.
It is so funny. And this is how, like, rent-free the pod lives in my head. Like, the second I saw it, the first thing I thought was, like, ooh, James. Like, ooh, yeah.
I will say, great bit by everyone involved in the NFL to
make Jalen number 3.
Especially just to make the list that I hate the most. And if every year we fight about, I'm like, it's the dumbest. Like, I give it 0. I give it 0 credence. I hate it. I think it's so stupid. I think it's a total joke. Of course. All also like, Jalen's not getting enough respect.
Yeah, and he gets
one freaking list.
So I do really like the list. We don't have to do this whole debate.
We're not going to do argument.
Yeah.
But if you want to hear us argue, go back to last year. At this time, we argue about it.
Yes, for like multiple
Elliot
pods.
Thinks it's a great list. I think it's a horrible list. That is where we're.
But my last thought before, because we did do this, in the other pod yesterday. Or whatever. Like, it is really cool for Jalen. Like, whatever you think of the list, like, if I was a player, I would want to be on this list the highest. Because it is your peers.
I get that. No. I agree with that. Yeah. Like, if I'm a player, I don't care about the other list at all. Like, I care about the players one because that's, like, your peers. That's the guys you play with. Whatever. I just think, personally, I think that it's a
And I do think
list.
with Jalen specifically, look, Jalen has always been someone that people are drawn to. I don't think Jalen's ever, like, walked into a room and felt like I'm not popular, right? So... But I do think Jalen, a lot in his career, has been told he's not good enough.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I think, like, for him to be voted number 3, ironically the same as Carson, which is, whatever.
Which is...
I know, but whatever. But it's got to be a really cool feeling for Jalen. Just to be like, I was voted the second best quarterback in the NFL. I mean, think about a year ago, he wasn't even on it, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, of course he wasn't. He was like 25th on Chris Simmons.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So to go from not on it to 3... To go from fighting for your job to trying to trade for Russell Wilson to getting $250 million. Like, everything's coming up, Jalen.
Been a good year for Jalen.
One more little cool Jalen thing. Shout out to Zach Berman of The Athletic. He wrote a cool story about
Sounds
Jalen.
like a Zach Berman thing.
Trust me, this is a very Zach. Yeah,
I love Zach.
Yeah, he's
Zach,
this is what he's good at.
Zach Berman went to high school with my brother.
Oh, right.
Like,
I forgot that.
Same class, same everything, yeah.
Look at your high school. Just
not mine.
Well, true. Your brother's. Well, he's a star.
He went to a fancier school than I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you lived a rugged life.
Yeah.
But he wrote a story about how Jalen, like, went to a cheesesteak, or it's a shop that is owned by, I believe, sisters. And they sell cheesesteaks, but that's not what they're known for. He went there. He loved his experience. And since then, he's, like, shouted him out a bunch. He always goes there. He orders food from. Just a cool story of, like, and now it's not behind the scenes, obviously, because Zach wrote the story. But for the last year, he's been doing it without us knowing this. Jalen is just, like, he just seems like he has a good heart. And I think that like, we talk so much about his motivation and his leadership and all that.
He seems like a good human being.
Exactly.
Like a real, like,
yes.
Well, that's the thing that, like,
and we don't know him super well, but, it just, you get the sense that he has his moral compass is pointing the right way.
Clearly.
And I think that story showed this.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen so many examples of that. The all-female, team.
Well, that's another part of this.
All that stuff. But I think with Jalen, and it's something that's unique to him, is that he, like, when Bryce Harper got here, right, and I loved it. All right, but a lot of people were like, "All right, guy, like, you're saying what you think we want to hear.
Right.
I don't know if it's real," and it turns out it is. Like, I thought it was the whole time. With Jalen, there was never any of that. Like, people were just like, "Yeah, this is who this dude is." Like that, because it is authentic and it feels genuine, even though he's saying that, like, sometimes the most cliche things you'll ever hear. Some of these, like, colloquialisms or whatever that he has are like. Normally I'd be like, all right, dude. Like, what? With him, I'm like, yeah, man. Yeah, you're so right. Because it's real and it's genuine. I think it extends to him as a person. I think I think he just is. He comes off as such a genuinely good human being and caring and thoughtful and all those type of things that I think it's, it's part of the whole thing.
Yeah. It's funny. Sometimes I think we like throw so much praise on Jalen that I naturally go to be like, all right, everybody calm down. Like he's just, blah, blah. But for fans, like it is awesome to have a guy.
Oh my God.
The problem is there's too much praise.
Well, dude, I know. How many times? I mean, I've said this a million times. Like I talk about this all the time. It's why 2017 is like it's special ever, but like it's one of the reasons that for me it was most special is like you don't always get to root for the best people, man. Like we root for the Philadelphia Eagles, and if you're in Kelly Green, if you're in Midnight Green, whatever, like you're my team, you're my guy, and I'm gonna root for the team. But like there have been a lot of guys who've been like, I don't like him. I don't want to root for him. We got one on the Sixers right now. Like I don't like rooting for James Harden. I just don't. Like I don't like it. But like he's on my team, and I root for my team. Like it is really cool when you get these guys, especially the guy in the most prominent position in the city.
The whole city,
To feel like proud of him, to feel proud that I get to root for him, that like he's my guy. Yeah, dude. Like that really matters to me.
And the other cool part is think about the last time the Eagles went to a training camp without any question about the quarterback.
Oh, I know. It's
McNabb because you
2017 Carson.
But 2017, like you knew he was the guy, but you didn't know if he. I mean, you figured.
Oh, you're just talking about how good he's going to be.
Like,
I thought you meant like upheaval at the position.
No, you're right. In 2017, he was the guy.
He was the guy.
But I'm saying we didn't know. Like Carson looked good in 2016. You felt confident about it.
I felt confident, but not like he's a superstar.
Right.
Yeah.
Like since McNabb, like there's been training camps with Kevin Cobb, with Vic, with Foles, with Bradford. Like,
and I think we felt good about those guys in moments and stuff like Foles after 13 going, we were like, all right, this is our guy. He had a really good year last year. Like, I'm excited. Like, I think we had stuff like that, but you're right. It was never
it's been a long time.
It's been a long time since it was like a full on, like, this guy's a star and I'm super excited he's our quarterback.
Yeah, makes the training camp stats still fun, but a little more like
takes a little.
It'll come back around. Don't worry.
Someday.
Right? Someday. Yeah.
So,
hopefully, far away.
Hopefully, we don't see that day in a long time.
Yes.
All right. Final thoughts. Do you want me to go first since you got your banger one?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me look real quick. Quick one from Zoe. This is not, but when Brandon Marsh got hurt the other day, I was like, we're watching the game in bed, like all three of us, and Zoe was hanging in our room. And I'm like, oh no. I'm like, Brandon Marsh got hurt. And Zoe goes, does he want me to kiss it and make it feel better? And it was just like
what a kind heart.
Sweetest thing.
Her and Jalen, moral compass in the right way.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a final thought. I've been holding for a little while, and it drives me crazy. Because, we'll sometimes do the like TV movie stuff where it's like, oh, why don't they run? Or whatever. This is another one of me. Like, why is it that... And look, maybe hitting someone with the butt of a gun is something that knocks you out immediately every time. Why does someone get knocked out every time? It's like, hit him with the butt of a gun. Oh, he's out. He's knocked out. We're good. That person's out for an hour. It's like, there's no way. There's no way that every time you hit with the butt of a gun, it knocks you out. Like, I don't believe that.
So I agree with your premise. I think it's funny in movies where someone like hits somebody and then that person just lays
knocked out.
Down. That's it.
But I feel like if they hit the butt of the gun is the automatic. Like it'll happen every time. If you hit them with the butt of the gun, they're knocked out.
See,
and just in general, I agree. The idea of the one punch knockout.
They just lay there, right?
And then he's done.
Yeah.
It's so foolish.
But I do think if I got hit with the butt of a gun, there's a 0% chance I wouldn't get knocked out.
Dude, you knocked out.
I don't know, man. Like, a huge piece of metal, like I don't think
I'm not hurt a lot. I think it might knock some people out in certain, but I just don't think like it's like almost like all right, I'm knocking you out now. Like it's always like, all right, time for you to get knocked out. Boom, knocked out. Like it's just come on.
I agree with your premise. I just think getting hit with a barrel of a gun probably hurts a lot more than maybe you're making it out.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't hurt. I'm saying instant knockout. Like in the
movies,
do you think would hurt more? With the butt of a gun, you're knocked out. That's it. There's no other. Like me, I'm just saying, like maybe it takes twice.
Right.
Like my point is, like maybe it's like boom, oh, not knocked out yet, boom, got him. I just think this idea that you hit once every time, it's like out is dumb.
We think would hurt more, barrel of a gun or a bat?
A bat.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Getting hit with a bat in the head would be.
A bat is like a full swing.
I think would be one of short of being shot and dying, which would obviously hurt. At least
it would be a tough one.
Yeah, it'd be a tough one. Like getting hit with a bat, I think would be pretty horrendous.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be good.
No. All right.
I don't want it.
So here's my final thought. And it's not a thought, it's a promise. Mark my word. Roadies, everyone listening, you, Tucker, everybody. I am never, ever going to a movie theater again. You will never catch me in a movie theater. We went and saw Barbie.
I mean, this is a horrible thing.
We went and saw Barbie.
This might be your worst final thought. No, it's not, because you've had worse, but this is a bad one.
What a horrendous experience movies are. In what world is it better to go watch it with a group of people instead of at home by yourself? Yeah. We can talk about the money.
Many worlds. Like, comedies are better with groups of people. Horror movies are better with groups of people.
I completely disagree.
Yeah, well,
I think an experience.
You laugh so much more when you're with groups of people and everyone's laughing. Like, it's just way more funny.
See, I don't, though. I actually like.
I like watch comedies by myself. Like, I'm like, a little chuckle. Or sometimes I'll really laugh hard, but like you watching the movies, like everyone, like it's a communal experience. It's like, why would you ever go watch a sporting event live?
Well,
why?
But that's different.
It's a communal experience.
Because you're with a crowd. I don't think.
Yes, I
don't view a movie as a communal experience. The experience is I'm watching a movie.
But like
there's people talking, people playing with their popcorn, people using their phone.
People talking is annoying. Also, like. And again, I'm not saying every movie theater experience is great, but I do think that movies are best seen in the theater. It's a big screen, it's surround sound, it's louder, it's a better experience, it's the way the movie was shot,
right.
Like it's just better.
So I agree with you. If I could sit in the movie theater by myself,
course, yes, there's nothing better than that.
Right.
But like again, I think there are certain movie theater experiences that can be annoying, but like I fundamentally disagree.
So again, like I get your point. If it's not the actual screen and
I'm saying I'm fine with the crowd. Like it's fine. That's where it's part of going to a movie.
Like the fact that
again, a horror movie is way better when everyone goes, and like you're reacting on it, and I fundamentally hate
I know
this.
You love
hate
movies
this so much.
I know you love movies, but like the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, I would love to see it. I'm not going to a theater to see it. I will wait until.
Well, there's most movies I'll wait till I get home. I don't go to the theaters a lot.
Silly
but like,
to think
it's better in the movie. It's just better.
But like, it's so silly to think in every other walk of life, like we're so about instant. Like if you can get it the quickest that way, like Amazon delivers the day of, the apples, like all these things.
It's not a great thing.
No, but
it's not like that's an awesome thing that we're all about. We have to have it now.
Well,
we can get it right
philosophically,
now. Like,
I get your point. But I'm saying in terms of like consumer goods, it's just crazy to me that we have.
It's nice that you have to get up and do something instead of just sitting on your couch and hitting a button and get it from immediately.
Yes, that is like that. Like it's crazy to me we aren't given that option. If you want to put them in both, go for it. If you love the movie theater, you love that experience. Like it's like with sports. If you want to go back to that, some people love to go to the game, right? I was at the Union game. It's a better experience for me. I get your overall point about it, but what frustrates me about it is it's the only way to consume the product. Do you see what I'm saying?
For a certain period of time.
Yes.
No, it's not the only way forever.
No, not forever.
Right, so you just
But the exciting thing is when the movie comes out, like everyone's talking about it.
But that's why people pay to go to the theater. That's why the economic model for movies is movie theaters are what matters. That's why they want people to go there. So if they put them at home, people aren't going to go to the movie theaters. They're going to make less money on it.
But it sounds like you would still go to the movie theater.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay,
that's the problem. It's because I'm so busy. Like it is like an effort to me. I would love to go to the movie theaters more. I can't because of my schedule, because of my daughter, because of my whatever. If they put it at home, I would absolutely do that. But the point is, there are people who go to the movie theaters, and if they have the option of watching it at home, they're going to stay at home and watch it instead of going up to the movie theaters, and that will cost the movies money.
But
do you understand? Like the economic model.
All right, forget about the economic model. Just forget about that part.
But you're asking why it doesn't happen. It's because it's a business.
Right. But first of all, we just disagree on the money thing. It's fine. We won't agree on it.
I'm correct. Okay, hold up. Forget disagreeing. Like, use your brain. You are very smart.
I get what you're saying. Because they do it this way. Because they do it this way.
You don't think they're like, how can we make more money?
Well, but things do change.
You don't think they're like, how can we make more money?
But I get that.
They did it in the pandemic and they lost tons of money. That was the problem. But because they did it in the pandemic and they were like, this is a horrible business model.
But because movie theaters were not open. Regardless, look, here's the point I'm making.
But again, they understand you can know what the difference is in money. Like, you're just wrong about the money part of it. Just accept you're wrong. We can argue the belief of it, but like you're wrong. Like,
but think about you.
Factually wrong.
But think about you, right? You love movies. You love the movie theater. You yourself are saying there are movies you cannot see now because you're busy, like, right? Think of the movies you could watch now if you didn't have to wait for the theater.
Elliot, again, do you think you're acting like they don't know the answer to this?
No, but I also think you are assuming they are making the best smart decision.
Dude, they did it during the pandemic. They put
in
movies
the pandemic,
on VOD.
Yes.
Right, and they made less money on those movies. Way less money.
I get that.
More people might have watched them. They made less money on those movies.
Yes.
It is a factual thing.
But the problem with the pandemic example is both were not open. That's the point I'm making about the pandemic.
Do you understand the point that they can look at what they made in the pandemic? And that's a time when the point is if both are not open, that means there's even more people are going to watch it at home. They make way less money with movies at home. Way less.
Right. I'm just saying the movie theater experience is not for me. I will never go again.
I think that's really sad.
I agree. It's sad. I used to love going to the movies.
No. Sad for you.
No, it is sad for me. I agree.
Sad for you.
I am sad about it. I was excited to see Barbie, and it was not a good experience. And it just sucks to think.
Step out into the world. Buddy.
I go out in the world all the time. I'm just saying the movie theater thing. I'm over it.
Strong disagree.
I'm done. There will be no more Elliot in the movies.
No,
it'll have to be a very, very. In fact, it'll never happen. But it'll have to be a very special occurrence for me to be in a movie theater.
That sucks for you, buddy.
I agree. It's sad. Well, it's a sad final take. I agree. It sucks.
This is you choosing this. This is
because I don't enjoy the experience. There's a better way, and we're deciding not to do it.
There's not a better way. Not if you want to see a movie on the big screen. Not if you want to see it loud and see it in a room with people.
Right, but that's not what I want.
Right,
I'm saying,
clearly, but a lot of people want that. Is the point?
And I think a lot of people would prefer to watch it at home.
Again, people would pay. We're not doing this.
I'm just saying.
We're not doing this.
We're not doing it.
You're wrong about the money thing. Your opinion on not going to movie theaters is sad, but that's your opinion,
right.
And that's fine. You're wrong. Like, factually wrong about the money thing.
Okay.
I just okay.
I admit, for you, I will say I'm wrong.
I know, but I can see your face.
I don't think I'm wrong, but that's okay.
I know
it's okay.
And that drives me crazy. Like, sometimes you're just wrong. It's okay.
I agree. I said I was wrong about Devontae Smith. I said I was wrong about that. I was wrong about Keely Ringo. I have no problem admitting I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong about this, but that's okay.
Movie studios, if they thought they could make more money, VOD would do it. Like, all they care about is money.
I agree. But not people of power are not always making the best decisions.
They've tried it. You're acting like they haven't tried
We're just going in a circle again.
It drives me crazy. All right.
I know it does, buddy.
I can't believe we're still here. This was way too long.
Well, I told you it was a good final thought.
It was not a good
final thoughts with movies.
Horrible final thought.
Final thoughts with movies really get you riled up.
Yeah, next time say I'm going to get you riled up with a final thought, not I think it's a great final thought. It's a horrible, atrocious final thought.
I'd be curious where the roadies fall on this.
Yeah, let us know. Yeah, about whether you think that studios would make more money if they did.
I'd be curious to hear the outcome.
Because you're an idiot.
Well, we'll see.
Thank you.
We shall see.
Tomorrow, big pod. We're going to announce the trip, assuming Elliot doesn't make us.
No, it's going to. I'll talk to you after the pod.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to announce it tomorrow. We will not fight about movies.
Well, who knows?
I don't think.
I'm never going to movie theater again, so we'll never have this debate again, unless people come up to us about it.
Sad.
But
you're making me sad.
I am also sad about it.
I hate this.
I also hate it, but it's the world I live in now until someone fixes it.
Oh, buddy. All right, we're out of here.
All right,
this is fun.
Good stuff.
Until the end, which I hated.
Well, the truth hurts. I agree.
He's Elliot James.